did not have exploratory classes.
There weren't any elective or exploratory classes.
We didn't have any.
That's a big change, and I'm glad that I'm at a school and my kids went to a school where they had electives and exploratories.
We did have music and gym and art, but those were like, they would flip flop. So you wouldn't have all three in one day. You might have one in a day, one in a week, or something like that. I think we might have had gym almost every day.
All we had was gym and religion classes. That's it. So we didn't have any exploratories. It's amazing that you guys have that now. It's really cool.
Well, the fact that you have a keyboarding class, that didn't exist for me. I wanted to take piano lessons, but we weren't even practicing on a piano. We had a cardboard keyboard in front of us. I feel so old talking. The biggest change is air conditioning.
We used to have computer labs. That's where you went and did research and things like that.
Obviously, they're bigger and obviously way more modern. Like the fact of a science lab, we didn't really even have a science lab.
I went to a Chicago public school from the middle school years, and it was kindergarten to eighth grade. So it was one building and multi-purpose rooms, like what we have downstairs. That is very different than a designated assembly or auditorium versus one that has multiple uses. Well, you got an hour? I could go on and on that one. Ways of teaching. It was a lot of the teacher talking when I was a student and not as many hands-on or group activities like now is an everyday occurrence.
I don't know what a teacher fully felt back then because I wasn't a teacher, I was a student. But my guess is grading has changed, not just philosophy style, but they would have to put in their grades by hand. And now we get computers to do all that stuff. And just teaching as far as not always having to make copies and printing things. And I think there's a general philosophy, not for every teacher, but to get away from the textbook and try to bring in other resources and more use the textbook as a place where they can get some information. As a social studies teacher, Christopher Columbus's topic, we still study it a little bit, but it's looked at it a little different. He was definitely looked at as a hero. We didn't really look at some of the negative things that were caused when that type of exploration hit the shores in America.
Rules haven't changed as far as, respect and being accountable for your work and responsible. Those are kind of timeless, but other rules and expectations have been added with misuse of technology. So I would think that's a big change.
Probably the late or missing assignment rule has changed the most. Punishments have changed in a lot of different ways. Students, when I was in the eighth grade, could be held after school to clean up rooms, to clean off chalkboards. We didn't have whiteboards back then. Detentions, suspensions, probably more out-of-school suspensions than in-school suspensions for some students. I think that's kind of the big thing. I know at Emerson we try to promote making amends with your teachers and trying to move past certain things. Where I went to school, it was a little bit more strict.
Boy, Catholic nuns. Have you ever heard of them? I have stories. It was tough. We'll leave it at that. You need to behave yourself. If you didn't, yeah, you just got yourself in a little bit of trouble.
There were no smart boards. I'm going to say something that you probably don't even know. We had film strips where it was just a projector and manually would turn, think of it as different slides. And even from my early teaching years till now is a big difference. We would have overhead projectors when I first started teaching to display things for all classes to see. And now we've got smart boards. We've got, when Emerson was first opened, every classroom had a TV with a VCR. I bet you don't even know what a VCR is right now. But that has changed. And classrooms that didn't, we'd have a TV on a cart that we would roll and share amongst classrooms. So, that's a big difference. And just, the use of digital tools.
You'd be surprised when we did watch videos in school. Many teachers will be familiar with this. Is they had a cart with a TV on it, and it was not a flat screen TV; it was a tube TV, and they would roll it in and put the VHS tape in, and you'd watch a video on this. And now we get to watch it on a pretty cool screen. But even back when I first started, not everybody had Chromebooks. A lot of people had carts. Schools are no different than the outside world. That technology changes things.
You want me to do a memory? Okay, but it's so 1970s, and this would not happen today. So I think one of the earlier questions, like, how has school changed? So growing up in the 1970s, we had so much freedom. We could leave campus, walk home, come back home to school, whatever. But during lunchtime, when I had like 7th and 8th grade, we would stay at school, but walking into the teacher's lounge, we could. And all the teachers were smoking in the lounge because it was the 1970s. And sometimes the teachers would, hey, can you go pick up my lunch for me? We were allowed to, they'd give us their money and we'd walk a couple of blocks and pick up their sandwiches and like, oh, yo, keep the change. And we did, and walk back to school. So the idea of a freedom of like leaving campus, leaving school, and then coming back and going back into the teacher's lounge and giving them their change, like just so free, you know? It was really cool. So a lot less rules, I guess, just in a lot more freedom. Oh boy, I'm gonna miss it. One of the best years of my life. I feel very filled with so much joy and oh God, so many amazing, beautiful souls in my journey that I love them all. I love every student that ever crossed my path. All right. So yeah, I feel very blessed.
On a Google form, many teachers reported electives changing a lot since they were in school. Many, if not all of them, stated that we have a lot more electives than they did. Many responses also said that we have a lot more technology use in our schools. The average rating of Emerson as a school was 9.47 stars out of 10. The average rating that teachers rated their schools was 7.76 stars out of 10.